transcendent function. This is when the psyche begins to create a third position, a place that can hold both the persona and the shadow, both the wounded child and the emerging authentic self. It's not about choosing one or the other. It's about creating a container large enough for the full paradox of human existence. Now here's where Jung's insights become truly profound. He observed that the empaths who successfully moved through this breaking and integration process emerged with a kind of power that was qualitatively different from anything they possessed before. It wasn't the power of the ego, that aggressive force that dominates and controls. It wasn't the power of the persona, that sophisticated mask that wins approval. It was what Jung called the power of the self with a capital S, the integrated totality of the psyche. These transformed empaths could still feel deeply. Their sensitivity hadn't disappeared. But now it was paired with something it never had before: discernment. They could feel the suffering of others without becoming that suffering. They could offer compassion without sacrificing themselves on the altar of everyone else's needs. They had learned the difference between empathy and enmeshment. Jung noticed 4 key capacities that emerged in these individuated empaths. First, they developed what he called psychological sight. Having navigated their own depths, they could now see the hidden dynamics in any situation. They could identify shadow projections, recognize trauma patterns, sense what wasn't being said. But unlike before, when this awareness just made them absorb more pain, now they could witness it without taking it on. Second, they gained access to what Jung called the collective unconscious from a position of groundedness. They could tap into archetypal patterns, sense the movements of the collective psyche, understand the deeper currents shaping human behavior. But they weren't drowning in it anymore. They'd built an internal structure that could channel these forces without being overwhelmed. Third, they embodied paradox. They were simultaneously vulnerable and unbreakable, soft and fierce, compassionate and boundaried. They'd integrated what Jung called the union of opposites, holding space for both and rather than either or. This made them extremely difficult to manipulate because they couldn't be pulled into false dichotomies. Fourth, and perhaps most importantly, they'd transmuted their wound into their gift. The very sensitivity that had caused so much suffering became their greatest instrument for transformation, both their own and others. But now,